To say I'm interested and I've been waiting to do this video for a long time is the understatement of the year. Couldn't be more excited to be out here on Maui, ocean behind us, with none other than guardian of the Holy Rail, Skyrama. And of course, Johnny.
Junior apprentice to the Holy Rail.
Junior, yeah, a member of the, the Guardians of the Holy Rail, maybe a junior apprentice, but earning his wings more and more every time. And so today, Sky, what we're hoping to do in this video is to go ahead and talk a little bit about tail wings. A lot of people had a lot of interest in the last video that we did that had the Foster designs. And in that Foster design, we tested in the lake, did the best that we could to try to foresee what it would be about prone foil surfing. In this video, we're talking specifically about prone foil surfing and why you actually want to pay attention to your tail wings, some of the modifications you might want to make, and some of the characteristics that you might see when you go ahead and try them. Where do we start?
I think we start with 232.
232?
232, unchopped, straight from the factory, standard tail wing.
So what would be the decision to chop it? Like, what point of your foil surfing experience and level of expertise do you think you would need before you would go ahead and chop that?
I personally think with this, like anybody, you would want to see and feel how this rides for a while. 5-10 sessions. Then after that, if you feel like, okay, I've understood how this feels and you understand the way it rides, when you chop it, it's going to loosen things up and make you definitely ride a little bit more advanced. When you chop the tips here, what you're doing is you're losing the vertical, and what that gives you is more yaw effect. You don't have as much bite. So you can throw it out, you can whip it around a lot easier. And I really personally like it chopped, and I also like riding some days if I have bigger wings. I love it, so it's good to have two actually. So there's still a place for it unchopped as well. But you want to get radical in the surf and things like that, then I really recommend chopping it.
Okay.
And you still have, remember, when you do chop it, you still have a little bit down tip, down turn as it comes up. And what that does is still allow some bite versus other foils designs where it'll be more flat, right?
Yeah.
So you still have a little bit of bite, but you're still really loose. And a lot of people love the chopped tail. Now, what's really interesting about the Armstrong is you have a bigger cord here than other stabilizers. And what that allows is to be able to go shorter than most companies. Some companies give you 16s and whatnot. I forget exactly what it is when you chop it. I think it's about around 13 or something like that, 13 to 14. And what that allows is, it frees it up, because remember, the wider your tips are, it's going to be like a humpback whale, and it's going to be harder. And then when you shorten it up, you get more of a dolphin effect, so you can pump faster. Your elevation goes quicker and faster, and that's really nice to have that quick elevation, that response. Because when you go really wide, sometimes it really has to put a lot of work into, even with a short fuse, you got to put a lot of work in. And then of course, the longer you fuse and you got a longer tail, wider tail, then yeah, that's going to be really hard to pump.
Okay, and so when you go to chop this, I know for me, I'm dealing with a carbon tail wing like that, I'm a little bit nervous.
Yeah.
Do you have to be nervous about it, or what's that chop process
well,
look like?
you can do a grinder. A lot of times you can do a jigsaw. I've done it a few different ways, thanks to my buddy Nick Bennett, who has all the tools. He's one of the best stand-up foilers there is out there. And you can grind it down. Like the other day, I did another chop shop on my 300 wing that I just got from Armstrong. And all I did is just grind it down. He had a grinder that was so powerful that it just would take it down in seconds. Okay. Literally, you gotta be careful. And you can take a jigsaw and just follow the line too. So you don't have to really be an expert to chop it, to be honest. Then after you chop it, I recommend finishing with some hand sanding. Whatever grit you find that you're comfortable with, and then go lighter and lighter grit. And of course with water. And I find you can just get amazing finishes with that and take out all the rough stuff.
All right,
so,
sounds good.
Yeah.
And so in one of our prior videos, we reviewed, Johnny and I did these two fins from Foster Design. Remember that, Johnny?
I remember it. The crazy fins from Foster. Thank you, Foster Design.
Nice
Hooking
work.
us up. But yeah, these are great.
And this one, remember there was a piece of Scotch tape on it? We weren't sure if that was critical to the functionality of it.
Took the Scotch tape off, still looks like it works well, but this is a great fin.
So I shipped these fins out to these guys because I said, hey, I have some stabilizers you guys got to try on the lake. I think you'll love and loosen things up. And sure enough, it's definitely a game changer. If you can get any way, any form, especially Armstrong's really hard to make wings for because you have the inserts here. It's not like other foil systems, and I guess they did that on purpose. But if you can get yourself a stabilizer that's custom, it really will show you the different characteristics what a stabilizer does. And the more you try, the more you'll understand what they do and how important it is to pimp your glide. Pimp your glide. Pimp your glide.
There you got it there. Yeah. Pimp your glide, baby. And so if we look at the evolution between these two, this one's yours, the one that you have now. This is the one that we had before. You and I talked a little bit about this today, where you actually took a little bit off the edge. Yes. Why did you do that?
So what I found when I was riding it, and they're a little bit thin because this is G10 material, and it's pretty stiff, don't get me wrong, but you know, as we get thinner, it's a really thin profile. It's not carbon or anything. I found a little bit too much flex in the tip for me, and I was calling it like a drunken master style. And I just felt a little wobbly and a little bit like, you know, it was riding well, amazing wing. I mean, in general, it's just amazing. But as you can see, as soon as I chopped it, I made it more fat tips, and what that did is it just really stabilized it more. So I took out the drunken effect, and you could just really pump fast. And because again, it wasn't as wide, so it's not quite as wide there. And yeah, so sometimes, you know, even when you get custom wings from a great builder, he doesn't know. He wrote it a few times. So the best thing you can do is try to figure out what you want to do with it. And so from there, I just drew a line, and you just go a little fatter, and I think that might solve you guys' you know, just to put a little more performance out of it. This is actually a great wing by itself. I tried this as well. I think we're going to see a lot more of these in the future, these fishtails, to be honest. I think this is truly the future. About, you know, around that kind of delta shape. You know, we're making delta front wings, so why aren't we making the back wings more delta as well? I think they're high performance, and we're going to see a lot of this in the future for sure.
Yeah, and I think the interesting thing is, and that I guess I never even thought about it as much till talking to you, is actually getting out there, get that tail stabilizer, and then start experimenting with it. You know, to find it, and you know, obviously you want to do that with some level of caution. Yes. But you know, to find what it is that you like.
Yes, absolutely. Now, you know, so here's how I run things. Well, let's get into fuses and stabilizers. So if you have your stab really wide, you would want to run a 50 to balance that performance, because if you run a 60 or 70 fuse, which, you know, I run 60 sometimes, but I mostly run my 50, I realize the longer and wider your stab is, the less responsive it's going to be, right? But if I run the 60 with a really short one, like this is 11 inches only 11. And if I run that, then I realize I have more stability through my turns, but yet I can still whip it around, and because it's a smaller wing. So, you know, you just want to counterbalance anything that you're doing, you know, and kind of.
So when you go shorter, so, and we're talking centimeters, so with the 50 centimeter fuse, you'll go with a little bit bigger tail wing?
Yeah, I can get away with it and still have performance to, you know, blow out the tail or do whatever I want to do if it's a good tail wing. I'm running this 16-inch right now from Foster Design, and it's really nice actually, and it's super thin like this, really fast, but yeah, I can still have a good performance, and you know, can still pump really well and blow it out. And then when I get on something, you know, crazy like this, then I can run 60, but I also like 50. And I ride this mostly in smaller waves, because once it gets big, you need a little bit something like this, you know, and then we'll get into that here in a minute. But this, when it's small, waist high, amazing.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
How does it affect your pumping? You find the different tails, catching a wave and then pumping back out to reconnect.
Yeah. So interesting. That's a good question too. As we were talking earlier about the whale tail and the dolphin tail. A whale tail will be anything in your 16 to 14 range, and your dolphin tail will be anything, you know, around 13 and below. You know, and this blue one right here, believe it or not, it's 8 inches and pumps like an animal, and it has that bite, so you can, you know, still have some stability. You know, this is of course a little bit wider. This is 11 right here, so this is a good happy medium. So we're shattering the illusions that you need all these straight, wide, you know, like airplane style tails, stabilizers, and we're realizing, man, we can go even as low as 8. if you got the right shape. Now, of course, with the cord pulled back on this, what does that give you? Gives you a longer fuselage effect, because suddenly we have this swept back. So suddenly your 50 feels like a 55 centimeter fuselage. So that's something to remember as well. If you have any of these delta shapes that swing back, and you know, the fish, called fishtails.
Yeah. And so you went Foster Design, the blue one, that's the one that you shipped to Johnny, which was great. And then you moved to this one.
Yeah.
And now this one here, it's got 2 stabs on it. Like, what was the thinking behind this design, and how does this perform differently than when we look at the blue Foster designed?
Foster actually put this on for me as a custom job. I wanted to stabilize it because I said it's so fast, it pumps it's amazing wing. But I think I need a little more stability, because I didn't realize, you know, I was really riding 8 inches wide. I was like, wow, this is really narrow. And so he put the stabilizer on me, and it really did help to bite, and it still pumped amazing. To be honest, this is still one of my favorite pumping stabilizers, because of the fact this is a true dolphin, maybe even smaller, like a baby dolphin. And yeah, it's amazing how this thing can pump. And so with this, with the 2 fins, the 2 bites, I call these bites here, the 2 little, I guess you could call them twin fin bites, yeah. I guess this is off a kiteboard, it looks like. But anyway, with this, it channels the water really well, and of course, too, it gives it that real surfy feel. This is the closest thing I ever felt to surfing with this, and there's quite a few videos on my Instagram with this stabilizer and talking about it. And yeah, it's just a great design overall. I mean, we should do more like this in the future. What I would like to see is like FCS. A couple screws here, you can take them on and off, so you could have it flat.
Interesting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I've talked about this with Armstrong and other people, and maybe somebody will listen.
Well, let's hope. So that's great. The moral of this story is that tail stabilizer makes a big difference, and there's a lot of different options. If you're out there and you're a prone foil surfer, even if you're a wake foil surfer behind a boat, this is an area to explore on your setup and figure out what it is that you want. Sky Rama is here. He's prone foil surfing. I would put him at the expert level without a doubt out here. I had the opportunity to be in the water. It was so fun to see you go through there and do things that I've never even seen in person. It was unbelievable. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave us a comment. If you want to check out Sky's Instagram, it's at sky.rama on Instagram. All kinds of great content there, and you can see a bunch of different videos. Of course, we'll be back often with more updates for you. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Leave us a note. Take it easy. Get out there and have fun. Hopefully you start prone foil surfing in the ocean sometime real soon.
Big aloha.
Ah, there you go. Look at that.
Look at that.
And even if my pocket's empty, I don't really want to go to work. No. It is so sweet under the sun. I'm gonna take my time, 'cause I don't really want to go to work. Got up this morning, look around and see the sun high. Grab my bag and take my phone. I shut the door and walk into the light. Oh yeah. And suddenly my phone is ringing. I can hear my boss shouting at me. You know what? He wants me to hurry, but I will not control my feet. Sun. And even if my pocket's empty, I don't really want to go to work. It is so sweet under the sun. I'm gonna take my time.